TiVO introduced the first mass-market DVR in the US in 1998, over 15 years ago. Everyone was going to record the shows they liked, watch them at their leisure, and buzz through the ads. It sounded so obvious and so logical. In 2006, IBM released a report including predictions about the DVR called, quote, "The End of Television as We Know It." In 2008, TiVo's CEO said, quote, "Probably 2/3 or more of the households advertisers care about reaching will be fast-forwarding through television ads." Bullshit. In the third quarter of last year, Nielsen reported that 8% of total TV viewing in the US was done on a DVR. About half the time, people using a DVR skip the spots, which means 4% of total spots were missed. If I remember my fractions correctly, 4% is not 2/3. Meanwhile, in the 15 years since the DVR was introduced, TV viewership has grown over 20%. So the positive effect of more TV viewing is at least 5 times the negative effect of the DVR. And the strange thing is there is no negative effect. Not only has the DVR not disrupted TV viewing, it has actually enhanced it. Now, if the DVR wasn't going to kill TV, then the web was. You see, TV and the web were going to converge. You remember convergence, right? And the web was going to provide us with all the fun of TV without the annoying advertising. Let's listen to the experts on this. In an article entitled, "Let's Just Declare TV Dead and Move On," TechCrunch wrote, quote, "The writing is on the wall. At the end of the day, people want to consume content." I hate that fucking word, content. People want to consume content without the friction of having to sit down in front of a television at an appointed time. People want to see the whole show on YouTube. There is a fundamental shift in consumer behavior going on. They wrote that in 2006. From Wired magazine, quote, "Traditional TV won't be here in 7 to 10 years. That was written in 2007. From the Telegraph in 2007, "TV is dying," says Google expert. Also from that year, in an article entitled, "Internet Will Revolutionize Television," Fox News wrote, "The internet is set to revolutionize television within 5 years." They quoted a fellow you may have heard of named Bill Gates saying, quote, "I'm stunned how people aren't seeing that in 5 years, people will laugh at what we had." That was 7 years ago. Anyone here laughing about that? I don't hear anything. Now let's look at the facts. Despite the bullshit of all these experts, in the third quarter of 2013, 97% of all video viewing in the US was done on a television. 3% was done online. Another of the fairy tales of the advertising industry was that interactivity was going to make advertising more engaging and effective. Interactive advertising was once again going to disrupt the old forms of advertising and make them obsolete. Unfortunately for us ad hacks, however, it turns out that people have no interest whatsoever in interacting with advertising. In fact, online banner ads have a click-through rate lower than 1 in 1,000. This is not interactivity. This is absence of interactivity. The idea that the same consumer who was frantically clicking her TV remote to escape from ads was going to joyfully click her mouse to interact with them is going to go down as one of the all-time great advertising delusions. What's worse, an alarming amount of interaction with online advertising is apparently fraudulent. According to a report by CNET, only 38% of traffic on the web now is human. 62% is bots, scrapers, hackers, spammers, and other impersonators. And the amount of fraud being perpetrated on advertisers by online scammers is crazy. A recent study reported in the Wall Street Journal found that 54% of display ads paid for by advertisers between May 2012 and February 13 never appeared in front of a live human being. 54%. If the journal was correct and the study projectable, it means that of the $14 billion spent on banner advertising last year in the US, $7.5 billion probably constituted some degree of deception or fraud. And according to Adweek magazine, this could reach $9.5 billion this year in the US alone.